There they go. All hell is breaking loose once again as Ukraine President Zelenskyy unleashed a massive drone swarm against Russian ships, against Russian infrastructure. Let me show you just what went down. In fact, this was the biggest strike yet against Russian ships. 28 Russian ships were targeted and successfully hit by Ukraine with a combination of their FP-1 and FP-2 drones. Get this, in the past 6 days, there have been 76 ships belonging to Russia that have been successfully targeted by Ukraine. You can take a look right here at the video that was just recently released by Zelenskyy, by the Ukraine Defense Forces. Take a look right here. You can see as they count off each of these ships that was hit in the Sea of Azov, which effectively has been shut down, almost a Strait of Hormuz situation, if you will, in the Sea of Azov at this stage, where a lot of Russian wheat and grain and other produce is shipped there, and Ukraine has again successfully targeted ship after ship. You can see in the video footage right there. I'll show you right now some FP-2 drone footage right here. These are Ukrainian FP-2s striking a Russian base on the Donetsk region as well. You can see that right here. Let me share with you this view from the shore of one of the targeted Russian ships right here. Here's one of the tankers hit by Ukrainian drones in the Sea of Azov. Take a look over here. Now let me just show you what these drones look like as they are coming from the sky, and they are smashing into Russian infrastructure, smashing into the Russian ships, smashing into refineries. I do want to note as well, Ukraine has also been using these unmanned vessels in the water as well. And then a little bit, I'm going to show you in this video some of the Russian strikes as well, because as I note, all hell is breaking loose. But let me show you the moment of the FP-1, FP-2 drone strikes on this Russian seaport right here. Let's play it.
Gördün o dedim bu tekli şey yiyecek.
Vurdu ya bravo.
O keşfiyete geldi geldi.
Vurdu bravo.
And now I will share with you what you're seeing right now as locals from the coast of the Sea of Azov right here are seeing these Ukrainian drones strike the Russian tankers. What a image right here. Can you imagine people walking right there on the coast? And this is what they're seeing. This is becoming kind of normal in Russia right now. Here, play this clip. I'll show you this as well. Fires at the Russian port of Taganrog right here. Share with you some B-roll of this Russian port. Looks like some of the infrastructure there, of course, being successfully targeted by Ukraine. You go over there from the port of Taganrog to the Ilsky refinery in Russia's Krasnodar region over here. I just want you to think about this because we've been showing you how Ukraine has been targeting some of these refineries that hold, you know, some of the biggest refineries in Russia. This plant over here I'm about to show you, play the B-roll, processes around 6.6 million tons of oil per year. It's export oriented and sits near some key Black Sea routes. Hat tip to special Kherson Cat for aggregating and pointing this out. You know, and in terms of some of the Black Sea routes by Novorossiysk, by Tups, by Taman, you can see right over here. Let me share with you what it looks like as a Russian Mobile Air Defense Group serviceman with a machine gun runs away the moment a Ram-2 strike drone approaches. Share the B-roll right here. You're going to see this drone as well striking a Russian armored vehicle all the way on the Arabat spot over here. It's about 122 kilometers from the front line. Over here, you'll see Ukraine hitting the Azov optical mechanical plant in the Rostov region. This is a Russian defense industry site. This plant produces electronics, optics, thermal imaging systems, and seeker components used in Russian precision weapons, missiles, anti-tank systems, military vehicles. Take a look right here at the Upsanka checkpoint on the border of the Rostov region. This checkpoint has now been closed for at least a day. I'll show you this footage right here from the port of Azov right here. You can see for yourself. We don't need to do B-roll. We could actually just play this clip right here.
Let's face it, after a night with drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to. I have to make a choice. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That is until I found pre-alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. And here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Every time I have pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice the difference the next day. Even after a night out, I can confidently plan on having a great next day without worrying. Look, I won't lie, I was a bit on the fence about pre-alcohol initially, but after giving it a chance, believe me, it's the real deal. July is packed with barbecues, fireworks, lake weekends, and late nights with friends. Keep the good times rolling into the next day. Drink pre-alcohol before you go out and wake up ready for whatever Sunday brings. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/Meidas and use the code Meidas at checkout for 15% off.
Now, separately, Russia has been attacking Kyiv with ballistic missiles. It should be noted that coming out of NATO, Donald Trump did at least say, we'll see what actually takes place, but he said that he would give the license to Ukraine to produce interceptors, as Donald Trump has got the United States in this catastrophic and unlawful war in Iran with Netanyahu, which, as you know, is escalating. The U.S. has run low on its own munitions. Also, I think Trump has maliciously held Patriot interceptors from Zelenskyy. Zelenskyy can shoot down the Shaheeds given by Iran to Russia. They could shoot down some of the cruise missiles, but the ballistics, you need the Patriot interceptors. And Trump has not delivered it to Ukraine, has not delivered it to Europe to deliver to Ukraine. And so Ukraine's like, just give us the license. Like, let us make it ourselves. We're just give us the technology. We'll do it if the U.S. can't do it. But you know, we'll wait to see if that gets delivered. So overnight, Russia attacked Kyiv and the civilian areas. Strikes and fires occurred in several districts of the city, in the Solyamansk district, Dniprovsky district, and others. I'll run you through some of the B-roll right here so you can see what's happening in Kyiv. You can see what's happening in Kherson as you have drones and missiles from Russia striking there as well. Photos from Zaporizhia airstrikes. Lots of people injured in Ukraine and Zaporizhia. You can see the site over there. Russia also hit the port infrastructure in Odessa. 2 truck drivers were killed, 2 more injured. So Russia's striking there as well. Russia has also begun targeting gas stations in the Kyiv region. We're seeing over there. Now, one of the things coming out of this NATO summit, Wall Street Journal did an article about it, as Donald Trump increasingly believes that the tide of the battle is turning and Ukraine is now launching this successful counteroffensive. at least according to lots of sources, but these sources often lie about a lot of things, Donald Trump is more willing to provide some of these interceptors, the technology, to Ukraine. And Trump perceives it now that before Trump said, I thought Putin was going to win, so I'm a Putin guy, but he's a Putin bootlicker for other reasons. And now he goes, well, I think Zelenskyy may be in the lead, so now I'm going to go there. And the thing is, that's why you just got to lead with your morals and values and principles and be a real leader, now here we are after Trump says on day one, I would get this resolved. Now he's finally coming around to the view that, wait a minute, Ukraine's counteroffensive looks successful now. Zelenskyy posted the following video. He writes, Russia's gasoline crisis is deepening quite justly in response to Putin's reluctance to end this war. We have put forward proposals on how to bring peace closer, and we have support not only among our partners around the world, but also with Putin's own circle. They understand what is happening and that peace has no alternative. This sentiment in Russia will continue to grow. Today, I signed a decree establishing a special command within the armed forces of Ukraine, a command for long-range, effectively global impact on Russia over this war. And we've been reporting here how Ukraine's been using these FP5s, right? These are the Flamingos and other drones that have been able to reach significant distances as well. Some of the drones, the FP5s rather, are the ballistics, the FP1, FP2 long range. They've been able to reach 2,500, 3,000 kilometers, and hit major refineries as well. He says, I signed this decree. This command must concentrate 100% of available resources on degrading Russia's warfighting potential even more. The commander in charge of this direction will be strong and certainly highly experienced. And then Zelenskyy also writes, I'm preparing changes across our diplomatic efforts. We need a new quality of engagement with Ukraine's partners to ensure the implementation of our agreements on weapons supplies. This agreement reached at the leaders level must be implemented much faster and in full. The U.S. and our agreement on licenses for the production of Patriots, Europe and our work to develop Europe's own anti-ballistic capabilities, as well as other projects specifically on defensive cooperation. Also, the support packages for Ukraine that have been announced, but as of today, have not yet been delivered in full. In other words, Zelenskyy saying we need to change this up because we get promised all of these things. There's a successful NATO summit. Good announcements happen, right? Trump likes to do announcements, but then the delivery doesn't happen. So we're going to make sure that we get the things that we're being told we're getting with new diplomatic engagement. As I noted, Russia has been striking Kyiv. 11 people, including a child, injured in Kyiv last night after some Russian attacks over there. Also, Russia struck Odessa, Sumy, Kharkiv, and the Chernihiv regions. Russia launched over 120 drones and 12 missiles, half of them ballistics. The ballistics can't be really shot down until Ukraine gets the interceptors that it needs. I want to share with you what Sweden's Prime Minister Kristersson had to say. Let's hear what he says.
Well, the irony is that while Russia is certainly not winning the war against Ukraine right now, that's quite obvious. Ukraine is having spectacular successes. Russia is not at all managing this war as they anticipated in the beginning. And obviously the irony is, of course, that what does Russia do that is unwilling to negotiate but not able to win? And I think we are all prepared for a lot of different options.
Now I'll show you what President Stubb of Finland has to say. Play this clip.
Yeah, I think there are two elements to it. The first one is that he's doing quite well in terms of long-distance strikes, both drones and missiles. We're seeing Russian oil refineries being hit and 40% of their refining capacity going down. But the other part of it is the way in which Ukraine defends itself. And there he's absolutely right. He needs more air defense. He needs more Patriots because we're seeing over 100 civilian buildings being hit just the other night with civilians dying. So this is something that we Europeans and Americans need to work on.
On the other hand, you have Russia's PR person, Putin's kind of press secretary, Peskov. Here's what he says about nuclear weapons on the Welt Walk show. And he says that we will If anything threatens the existence of Russia, nuclear weapons will be used. Here's what he says over there.
Our nuclear doctrine. So, and it stipulates the conditions for the usage of nuclear weapons. It's very bold, it's very understandable, and it's very simple. If something endangers the idea of existence of Russian state, then nuclear weapons will be used. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, no. It's very important to understand that. So the rest of the statements are speculations.
And then he says, Russia is too big to start a third world war, he says. When it was started against us, we fought to the end, which obviously is another threat right here. Here, play this clip.
Russia is too big and too responsible country to be an initiator of a third world war. United States knows the possible consequences of that war as well. Plus, we have relatively good dialogue. We're not good in our bilateral relations because they're stuck. They're on a zero level bilateral relations. But despite that, we are clever enough to talk to each other. So, and we're too big and too powerful in terms of mutual deterrence to be at war. But there is Europe. And there are lots of crazy things in the heads of European politicians.
For example?
That Russia should be defeated strategically. We have to spend more and more money for our defense. And trying to spend more and more money for our defense, they are trying to get closer with their military infrastructure to our borders. Will any country tolerate that? No. A country will take measures of precaution. We're going to do the same. We're going to ensure our security. But we will never start a third world war. We never started. We never started. Remember the history. But when it was started against us, we responded till the end.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Just wanted to bring you that footage. Shout out Jane Keeb. Shout out Kherson Cat. Shout out, so many great open source intelligence accounts that have done a great job posting a lot of this stuff as well. Max26. Great work.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.